Hi Miriam. So I've written my SRO in French and history, focusing on the problem statement, how is the story of immigration, integration and cultural encounters told in French popular culture? And I answered this by first explaining the French colonial history with a particular focus on the decolonization of Algeria. And to explain this, I focus on a radio broadcast from FLN in 1954. And this broadcast shows how the Algerian people wanted to be free and independent after many years of being a French colony. And the source says that they want independence, but also a fair agreement with France. And to get another perspective on the independence war, I used a former French President Charles de Gaulle's speech about decolonization in 1961, and this was 7 years later, when the president acknowledged that Algeria's independence was also in French interest. And de Gaulle's speech represents the French government's official stance, but it also reveals that not all French people share the same opinion as the French president. And I use these two sources to form an overall picture of France's past as a colonial power. And next up, I explore some of the problems linked to immigration by analyzing how they are portrayed in popular culture. So I focused on the film Les Misérables by Legeli from 2020, which represents a more contemporary perspective of the impact of the large waves of immigration. And the film is fictional, but it shows a realistic insights into the life of a Parisian suburbs, and the story follows the police in Montfermeil, a suburb, as they try to control the group of frustrated young who feel pressured by their surroundings. And the film also portrays the other side of the conflict, highlighting the struggles between the authorities and the young. And the movie shows how the authorities and French society in general lost control over the service and now no longer holds the power, and it illustrates the consequences of mass immigration and also shows the other side of the story, how the young people see the conflict with the police and also the society. And the director, Legeli, uses this film to show the issues seen across different levels of society regarding the integration and of immigrants. And the film Les Misérables is a strong critique of the failed integration in France, or just in the French suburbs. And it provides a nuanced view of how violence and corruption dominates in the authorities and institutions. And the film was created with the hope that French society and particularly the politicians will take responsibility and address the issues and understand the reality of the parallel society. And to say this further, I used another source, such as statements from the current leader of the Front National Party, Jean-Marie Le Pen, and he argues that France is a country for French people, and immigrants living in France should return to their home countries. And over the past 20 years, more and more French people have started to agree with him. And this is really interesting because it contradicts the earlier stance of making France a multicultural nation. And now 10% of the population feels overlooked because many French people do not see them as a part of the French society. And based on this, I concluded that the large scale of migration from France former colonies has caused significant problems for the country, and many French people do not want France to be multicultural anymore, and this leaves many immigrants in the ghettos, in the suburbs, living with the others from ethnic minorities, and the film portrays the anger of these communities, and the only way they kind of can get the attention and get seen is by demonstrating against the authorities. And in conclusion, there is discrimination and a lack of recognition in French society, which has led to the creation of a parallel society.